Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's webinar, Empowering Black Voices, Stories of Success. Here at Career Circle, we are a workforce solution company on a mission to change lives by connecting underserved communities with career opportunities and helping organizations build skilled pipelines. We have a wonderful group of panelists that are going to be sharing with us on today. We want to celebrate their successes and also provide actionable advice for supporting the Black community personally as well as professionally. And by the way, my name is Brittany Knowles. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. And I have the pleasure to be the Learning and Development Specialist here at Career Circle. I have dark braided hair in a natural hairstyle, dark brown eyes. I'm wearing wide cat eyes as well as a lovely smile to welcome you all to today's event. We're currently recording this webinar to ensure accessibility for all participants. You may enable closed captioning by clicking on More on the bottom right of your screen, then clicking Captions and then Show Captions. Today, we have the privilege again of hearing from a group of remarkable individuals who have achieved great success in their personal as well as professional lives. And they've made significant contributions to their communities as well as industries. Black History Month is a time to celebrate the rich history, culture, and contributions of Black individuals throughout history. It's also an opportunity to reflect on the ongoing journey towards equality and to recognize the achievements and stories of those who can continue to break barriers and pave the way for future generations. Our panelists today come from diverse backgrounds and industries, and each has a unique story to share. They'll be discussing their journeys, the challenges they faced, and the successes they've achieved. We hope that their stories will empower and inspire each of you, providing valuable insight into the importance of representation, resilience, and community. Before we begin, I would love to extend a heartfelt thank you to our panelists for sharing their time and experience with us today. We truly appreciate the time that you've shared. We know that your time is valuable. Thank you, thank you, thank you for helping us to celebrate and uplift Black voices. Without further ado, I'd love to begin introducing our amazing panelists. Could you each provide a descriptive introduction, tell us a bit about yourself, and express what Black History Month means to you personally and professionally? We're going to start this off with Kyrie. Why don't you start us off?
Thank you, Brittany. Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Black History Month. As Brittany said, my name is Kyrie Cheek. I am a project leader with Allegis Global Solutions. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I have braids and dark brown eyes. I'm wearing glasses and a black shirt. I am incredibly honored and excited to be joining this webinar today as a panelist with Career Circle. Black History Month to me has always been about legacy and celebration. It's a time to reflect on how we've come and also where we are headed. So regardless if I'm looking through a personal lens or a professional lens, I recognize the opportunity for encouraging the belief that we are all capable of great things, because when I look in the rearview mirror, I see resiliency, strength, and courage. So I'm looking forward to this conversation. Thank you for having me.
I love that. Looking through the rearview mirror. Yes, Kyrie. Yes. Okay. Next, we have Ashley. Tell us about yourself and tell us what Black History Month means to you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley Sandy Roy. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am a program specialist at Allegis Global Solutions, supporting our food and beverage management client PepsiCo. I live in Tampa, Florida. I have brown eyes. I'm wearing glasses, and I have on a white collared shirt, and I'm very excited to be here with you all. For me, Black History Month is a reminder of the strength, resilience, and creativity of my ancestors. It connects me to a history that has shaped my identity as a Black woman and encourages me to honor the path that they've paved. It's also a time for me to reflect on the struggles and injustices Black people have faced, but more importantly, it's time to celebrate our victories, resilience, and continuous progress. Professionally, Black History Month reminds me of the responsibility I have as a Black woman to lead by example, break barriers, and pave the way for others who might not always see someone who looks like them in a corporate space. It's also a reminder to remain committed to advocating for change in the workplace and beyond, and ensuring that the history and contributions of Black people are recognized and respected every day of the year.
Thank you so much, Ashley. And I just realized as I'm moderating this, I'm also an audience member. So as you're talking, I'm like, yeah, yes, that resonated with me. Okay, so when you see me go like this, it's because this is not y'all. This is absolutely organic. This is our first opportunity that we're having the chance to learn and glean from each other, and that just really excited me. And it all it's resonating. Like I'm getting all the feels. Jordan, I'd love to hear from you. Talk to me.
Yes, good day, everyone. My name is Jordan Lacey. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm thrilled to be joining you all from the New York metro area. I am wearing a black and white plaid headband, and I have a ponytail in, and I am also wearing a leather blazer. For me, Black History Month is extremely, it's a homecoming for me. It is an opportunity to be able to be a voice for those who may not have a voice professionally, and to be able to speak up at my seat at the table. Being the CEO of my own nonprofit, Light the Candle, it allows me the opportunity to think about, being a female CEO, a Black female CEO. What does that mean to my team as we're setting our strategic vision? But more importantly, what does that mean to our Black foster children that we help day in and day out, whether it's providing birthday cards for them or our care closets with personal hygiene needs for our foster children recipients?
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I love to hear more about that later on in today's chat. Thank you.
Thank you.
And lastly, Shamika, love to hear
Hi.
from you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. Thank you again, Carissa, for this opportunity. I'm really thrilled to be here. My name is Shamika. I currently serve as the Leadership Education Equity Program Coordinator with Atlanta Glow, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. And what Black History Month means to me is that Black History Month is not just a month to me. Black history is about honoring the ancestors that came before me and continuing the fight for our education, our rights, our history, and being able to use that to pass the torch to future generations. And professionally, I would say that Black history means community empowerment, education, and continuing a legacy of my son and other youth.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for sharing. So, we're going to get into these questions, and I'm dying to hear what you all have to say. The first two are for Ashley and Shamika. Who were your role models or mentors, and how did they influence your journey?
Well,
I can go
can-
first.
Okay, sounds good.
I would say for me, there was a lot. My parents were definitely my biggest role models. But in the work that I currently do now, it would have to be my undergraduate mentor, Dr. Asante. He really poured into me and cultivated and shaped the person that I am, really just getting me to understand the just the work of being a change agent in society, but also the work that I do within my community.
Ashley?
I would say throughout my career, I've been fortunate to have had several mentors, but two that stand out to me as particularly transformative. One of my first mentors was Audra Woods, who taught me the value of strategic thinking and the importance of staying grounded in my values. And another influential figure has been Gretchen Warren, who is actually my current manager. She has shown me the power of empathy in leadership and the importance of empowering others. But overall, I have to say that at our company, AGS, we have a community of colleagues who are intentional about creating a space where you feel seen, where you feel heard, and you're comfortable to show up as your true and authentic self professionally. And I think that our company does a really good job at just ensuring that everyone has a group or an ERG where they feel that they can belong to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to throw in a bit of a curveball. I'm going to ask this question to all of the panelists because I know that you have one. So, with that being said, what has been your proudest professional achievement to date? And I'm going to go clockwise and go with Kyrie first. What has been your proudest professional achievement to date? Brag a little.
Well, as to date, I just received a promotion. So at the end of the year last year, I navigated into a new role. Ashley's one of my biggest cheerleaders. I went from a implementation consultant to a project leader. So this is my first manager role within any company or organization. So I'm really excited to start learning how to become the leader that kind of inspires and encourages and paves a way for people who maybe are a couple years behind me. So it's a new and exciting opportunity. I'm learning, but definitely one of my biggest and proudest achievements so far because it was just a long time coming and I was really excited when I finally got the opportunity.
Absolutely. And look at all that love you're getting in the chat, okay? They are giving you
Thank you.
all of the congratulations. You go, girl. Yes, absolutely. And Ashley, you are next. You were her cheerleader. Now be your own cheerleader. Tell me what you got going on. I want to hear. I'm nosy. Tell me.
I would say just being nominated. I mean, I was one of two to get sent to that National Black MBA conference in my company. And I mean, to even know that my name was thrown in the hat for that, you're so accustomed to your day to day and working with your team that you don't realize, that those connections that you make will get you to an opportunity like that. So I would say that is my my thing that I keep reminding myself, like, you're doing a good job and it shows. You get sent to do these type of things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The nomination is going to turn into a win. All right. I am putting it out into the atmosphere, Jordan. Let's hear from you, Black
Yes.
CEO.
And congratulations to my fellow panelists. These are amazing achievements. You all should be so proud. My achievement
Absolutely.
was in May of 2024. I received my executive MBA from Colorado State University. I had been working as a senior associate in the event planning function and also running my nonprofit full time, but I was constantly having a hard time getting to that senior leadership, leadership team position. And it wasn't until I took some time and really started to think about how I could develop myself and how I could level up. And I decided that an MBA was the best way to do it. And it wasn't easy. It was 2 nights a week from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. It was sacrificing my Saturday nights for 2 years. But not only did it earn me my executive MBA, but it ultimately earned me, a deeper perspective of my nonprofit and also a senior leadership position in my full-time career. So for anyone out here who's thinking about higher education, just know that you can do it. It's not going to be easy, but if you have amazing, family and friends supporting you, it'll be really worth it.
Awesome. Congratulations. And Ashley and Jordan, I'm seeing congratulatory messages coming into the chat for
Thank you.
you. Congratulations. Lastly, Shamika, tell us about the amazing thing you accomplished.
One of my greatest accomplishments is um, I would say an undergrad. At my university, I went to PWI, and we did not have an African American Studies major at our university. And I was able to work with my undergraduate mentor at the, and we were able to create. I got into to create the curriculum for American Studies. By the time that I graduated, and it is still a standing major at the university. And I've been one of 5 students since it started to go. I'm just really honored and excited I've been being able to be a part of that opportunity and that writing and development and representation of what it means for African American history with myself and at my university.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. I know it might have been buffering a bit while you were speaking, but I did hear about the amazing opportunity that you had, and you also have some congratulatory messages coming through in the chat. So kudos to you all on your professional achievements. Awesome, awesome. Next question is for you, Kyrie and Jordan. Can you share a story or experience that highlights the importance of Black representation in the corporate setting? Ooh, this is a good one.
I can go first. So while I don't have a specific story or experience, I really do love this question because I want to share the importance of Black representation in our respective industries. I started working at AGS about 4 years ago, and from my very first day, I could tell that this organization cared about diversity, equity, and inclusion. These weren't just buzzwords, these were promises. They were a promise that was backed up by executive leadership who were intentional about their workforce. So, we often talk about mentorship and sponsorship and how important it is for Black leaders to leave the door open so that seats at the table are always available. And I'm proud to say that I have been afforded many opportunities because of my mentor. She's a strong and successful Black woman who is extremely respected across the business. And when I look at her and the reputation that she has created for herself, I am truly encouraged. For me, it was never a doubt about whether it was possible to kind of get to the level that she's at. It was more that I had reservations about where it was possible. Because as important as it is to see Black representation in a corporate setting, I would argue that it's just as important that this space is a safe and hospitable place, that we're not just existing to exist. I want to get to a point where it's not so surprising or astonishing to see a successful Black person or a successful person of any minority that's in a high successful place. I want representation to be a powerful tool that is continued and that we can reach a point where it's not surprising. And so that's why I feel like it's so important, but it's also encouraging. So, what's her name? Kathy Clem, she's one of our biggest, you know, cheerleaders, one of our biggest mentors. Ashley's nodding her head because we both kind of have gotten that inspiration from her. And she's just one of many. But I feel very empowered when I think about the people that we're able to look up to. And because of that empowerment, it makes you inspired to continue the legacy. So I think that's kind of how I'd like to shape, moving forward into the next generation for sure.
I absolutely agree with you, Kyrie. And that
Absolutely.
is just beautiful. For me, I echo this anecdote of lift as we climb, right? So, in the corporate setting and running Light the Candle, it's extremely important that as I am working with suppliers and contractors, I'm giving opportunity in bids to also, owners of companies that may be Black or identify as a underrepresented race or gender, or veterans as well. And it's so important to be able to open that door to someone else, to give them the opportunity to be able to have the contract of working on, a care closet with Light the Candle, or be able to, in my full-time venture, work with a events organization or an event sector that maybe may not have gotten the opportunity or the representation. And you have to realize that it's so important to leave the door open behind you as you may progress to that next room. Make sure that you're looking down the hallway to be able to be a light for somebody else. You never know who's watching you. It's really important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as you all are speaking these things, I'm seeing love coming in from the chat. And there's one individual in particular who has been a panelist of mine numerous times, Carla Johnson. I'm so happy that you are here. Thank you so much for joining and being a part of this. OMG, one of my faves, one of my faves. So, the next question is for Kyrie and Ashley in that order. What are some examples of organizations or programs that support and empower Black employees and leaders? What advice would you give? Kyrie,
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. I think I might have lost connection there for a moment, but I'd love to share my answer. So, I know you guys have heard me shout out Ashley a couple times throughout this webinar so far, it's because we have a really close working relationship over the last couple of months, almost a year now. So I love this question because it gives me the opportunity to share a recent experience that I had with my fellow panelist. We were both selected to attend a development conference hosted by the National Black MBA Association a few months ago. And when we talk about what Black representation and Black excellence looks like, this conference would be the best definition available. So for 2 whole days, we were immersed in various thought-provoking conversations from leaders in different industries who shared about their career journeys, their experiences, and lessons that they have learned. And I soaked it all in. I was just so inspired at that conference, and all I could think about now is how I can see where I can go and the heights that I can reach, how I can make huge, seemingly unrealistic goals possible. And, I think about whether or not I want to continue up the corporate ladder, how far I want to go, but I know that that ceiling, it doesn't stop, it can continue to grow. And that's the type of inspiration that I felt. I'm sure Ashley felt that way. And that type of feeling we have to keep alive. So when I think about what advice I would give to young Black professionals, it's that to say yes to those type of opportunities, to listen, to take advantage of the opportunity to talk to someone who's been in the game for a while, so that when you return back to your home or wherever you live from a conference and you have time to reflect, that all you can say is how amazing you and the experience it was and how much you learned. Because I'm still reeling after months and months after the conference, how much I learned and how much I want to continue to motivate and continue to expand upon what I learned. So I'm really excited for what the future holds, and I want to make sure that that excitement goes into the next generation.
I love it.
Absolutely.
No.
Ashley, and then after you, Jordan.
You must have known, Kyrie, that we were going to talk about this because that is my organization that I wanted to shout out to. But just kind of piggybacking off of Kyrie, the National Black MBA Association, this is a nonprofit organization just dedicated to enhancement and the development and educational and economic empowerment for African Americans. And they do host this conference every year, and it was just amazing to meet different people, step out of your comfort zone, talk to, all kinds of people in different industries. It was amazing. And like Kyrie said, to this day, I still have that excitement. I'm ready for the next conference, or I'm ready to step into a room where I haven't, been in before. And just kind of going into my advice for young Black professionals, I would definitely say, don't be afraid to challenge your counterparts, ask those tough questions, whether it be about DE&I efforts or, anything going on in the market, whatever industry you're in. Connect with anyone you can, even your allies. You never know what you'll learn from someone that doesn't look like you. And don't be afraid to step out that comfort zone and just be your authentic self. I know it's easy for us to try to portray your professional side and just stay one way, but it's okay for your employees to know that you're funny, or you do pottery on the side or anything like that, because you just never know that connection that it will bring to the next person. So yes, I can go on and on about advice and how being in those spaces really empower you to continue to do more and more.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, Jordan.
Yes, and just to underline what, Kyrie and Ashley both shared, these are amazing resources. And I think the advice, as a member of National Black MBA is you are who you surround yourself with. So if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Get involved with National Black MBA. National Urban League is another great resource. The Executive Leadership Council, the National Coalition of Black Meeting Professionals, and my side in event planning. And these opportunities allow you to meet like-minded folks, and together, as you're coming up in the industry or as you're growing your career, these are your future colleagues, the future CEOs of other businesses, and more importantly, it's your network. So I just wanted to share, National Black MBA has been a great resource to me from the networking side, and I look forward to the annual events every year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this next question is for all of you. What legacy do you hope to leave behind for future generations? I'm going to start with Kyrie.
Ooh, this is a good question because there's so many things, right? I hope to leave behind a legacy of pride for future generations. I hope that our future generations are able to see that although there will be obstacles and that you will experience failure because, you're going to be told no, there's going to be times where you're disappointed. Everybody has experienced that. It's just a part of life. But although that is all true, our capabilities and what we have the ability to achieve, that's greater than any dream that we could even begin to hope to imagine. And I hope that that type of pride and anticipation and expectation is something that our future generations are born with, that there isn't any trepidation or hesitation when you're looking at your goals. Nothing is too big because if we look in that rear view mirror, like I said at the beginning, there are so many examples of people doing the unimaginable. So have pride in that, have pride that that's our history and that's the legs that we stand on and the shoulders that have lifted us up. So that's definitely the legacy that I hope I can leave behind as well.
All right. I'd love to hear from you, Ashley.
I think no, I hope to leave a legacy of empowerment where young Black women feel confident in their uniqueness and strength. I want them to know that they belong in the spaces where, they've historically been excluded and they are capable of achieving greatness. I want my work to contribute to breaking down those barriers that hold us back, and ensuring that we can thrive on every level. And this goes for everyone, understanding the importance of taking care of yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically. I feel that by prioritizing your well-being, you can continue to contribute to your communities with strength, resilience, and grace.
Absolutely. Yes, yes, and yes again. Jordan?
Yes, I hope to leave behind the legacy of being the change that you want to see in the world. When I started Light the Candle, I was 17 years old, and I just had a vision that I wanted to help foster children and make them feel loved on their birthdays. It's 10 and a half years later, and I can't even put into words how many foster children we've touched and how many other young children I've inspired to make that ripple effect change and start some sort of leadership opportunity in their community. And when you build your brand, it's not going to be easy. There's going to be many times where you're standing alone or people don't see that vision. But I just encourage folks to look at that North Star and stay true to yourself and allow your brand to come through. And you'll be able to really be that change that you want to see in the world.
Absolutely, Jordan. Shamika, if you don't mind, I saw a question come in and I want to make sure that we address this right now. Okay. So, Shamika, if you just hold on to your thought for just two shakes of a lamb's tail. I saw someone saying, is this webinar for everyone or just Black women? And I want to make sure that I am reiterating that this is for everyone, allies and those that identify alike. I think that these conversations are so important to have because we want to be as culturally inclusive as we can possibly be. We want to be as celebratory of Black voices as we could possibly be. This month is not only about learning, but it's about being able to share. And so thank you so much to our allies and those that identify that are part of this conversation. All right. Just want to make sure that I am letting everyone know that you belong here with us, okay, at this time for this purpose. All right. And with that, Shamika, I gave you a few extra moments. The rest of y'all on the panel, don't get jealous that she had a few more minutes to get her thoughts together. All right. Shamika, come right on. Tell me what you like.
I appreciate that. I would say similar to the ladies who said it before, I would love to leave the legacy behind of storytelling through children's books about our history, our culture, our pride, and just about activism and organizing. Just really getting to understand that, Black history is American history. And I just really want to be able to put that out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, there's so much that I want to say. Being a Floridian and what you just said, but we're not going to go there on today. Okay. I got a few more questions that we got to get to, shall we? So the next question is, what challenges did you face early in your career and how did you overcome them? Now, this question is for Ashley, but if anyone wants to chime in, feel free.
Ooh, I would say it was fear, just fear overall, just, fear of succeeding, fear of showing up authentically, the fear of rejection. I can go on, you know, and how I overcame that, and feel like I'm still working on those things, is just I really just got tired of being on that hamster wheel of, oh my gosh, I'm working, I'm head down. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, I should be promoted. I should be doing this, or I want to do that. But I didn't, you know, converse with my counterparts about what I wanted to do. Was just kind of stuck in that mentality of, if I work head down, they'll see it. But sometimes you need to, pull your manager aside, or put yourself out there and let people know exactly what your career path is, what you're interested in, um, and let them know what you want to learn, because you're your best advocate, and you have to show up for yourself. So I think that I'm constantly reminding myself, that my team, they're not going to know exactly what's on my heart and what I want to accomplish unless I put myself out there. And I can't be afraid to do that for myself and show up for myself and just advocate for myself.
100%. Yes, yes, and yes again. And that resonated with a couple of people in the chat. I'm seeing Christina saying self-advocate and speak aloud. Julia said that's a great point. Someone said, yes, Ashley, in the chat. All right. Anybody else want to share? I see Kyrie, you done got unmuted. Talk to me.
I'm listening to my girl Ashley. And I'm like, one thing that she said earlier in the conversation about joining those ERGs, when I think about something that I kind of struggled with early in my career is being a little bit timid, maybe a little introverted. I definitely grew into being that outspoken person that Ashley kind of described, that sometimes you have to be when you're trying to learn or advocate for yourself. Because you're taught kind of at an early age, especially, at least in my position, my mom taught me that, unfortunately, we're sometimes in a position where we have to work twice as hard, 3 times as hard as our counterparts. And that can be kind of discouraging and even intimidating. But I learned that these ERGs, these allies that are just built into amazing organizations, they're here to help because we all come from a place and have an experience that we can find some type of commonality. We might not have the same experiences, but I think that we have enough respect for one another to build on that. So when she talked about allyship and ERGs, it really, really just warmed my heart because sometimes I don't give it as much credit as it deserves. I was looking in the chat and I see, my old manager, Serena, shout out Serena, and some of my old teammates. And I'm like, these are the people that, help, that may not be a part of our intimate community, but are certainly looking for us to succeed and are helping us just as much as the next. And that's really, really heartwarming to me. And it makes me not only want to support my community, but also, pay it forward. So I think about maybe people who are earlier in their careers and maybe don't see the value in that yet because they're kind of worried about themselves. But what goes around certainly does come around. And I think that we can all help each other. We're all on the same team. We all have different goals, but I think that we can work together for what's right. And I think that speaks a lot. So thank you, Ashley, for mentioning that. And for those of you who are asking what an ERG is, employee resource group.
Now, y'all, I'm gonna say this. I actually came into AGS green. I had come from academe, and so I had heard about BRGs, ERGs, and then they told me what it was, and I still didn't know what it was. Like I had to truly do a little research to understand what it is. So even though you said what it is, you told us what the acronym is. Could you give a little more insight for those like myself that maybe don't know what an employee resource group is, or a business resource group, or an affinity group?
Yeah, of course. So the best way that I can explain it is it's a small community within your organization that uplifts a certain area of the population. So for example, there might be a group that empowers parents that are in the workforce, another that is empowering Hispanics, that are in the workforce, Black professionals in the workforce, but they're all within the same organization. So at AGS, there's several ERGs that you can join, and you can join because it's a part of the community that you are a part of, or it can be joining an ERG because you're an ally for a certain group. So whether it's the LGBTQ plus community, you want to support your Hispanic community, whatever the case may be, there's, all these different organizations that are amazing and just a way to support whether you're a part of that community or not.
Absolutely, I could not have said it better myself. The word that I think that you were looking for was identity. A group surrounding a specified identity, and either an allyship towards that identity or a oneness within those identities. And so that's so cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Jordan, you are up next. I don't know whether or not you wanted to speak to the previous question or you wanted to expound more on ERGs, but talk back to me.
Yeah, so I mean, every organization that I've been a part of, ERGs have been extremely helpful. And kind of in simple terms, it's your big brothers and your big sisters that you may identify with, whether it is through race or through a commonality in your organization. And it's a great way to get connected to C-level folks, especially in larger organizations. There's a requirement from leadership to be involved in a ERG or a BRG of some sort. So it's a chance to be able to maybe have coffee with a senior manager or a C-suite member and be able to help progress your career further and help you network within your company, especially if you're looking to maybe move teams or move within that organization itself as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that further context. So this next question resonates even the more with the current climate that we're experiencing right now. But here it is. The question is, what steps can individuals and businesses take to promote cultural inclusivity in their communities? I'd love to hear from anyone on this topic. What steps can individuals and businesses take to promote cultural inclusivity and inclusion in their communities?
I think it's important to look at it as not something that you have to do. I think it's more a responsibility. And if you're not truly passionate about it, I don't think it has the same impact. If it's not something that's coming from a place of you feel responsible that it's, the right thing to do, then I just think it's not going to hit home as much as it could. So when I think of the steps that can be taken, I think we've kind of hit on it throughout this webinar. Jordan mentioned it with, making it kind of a requirement for our C-level suite representatives to be a part of those ERGs and to support us. I think of managers having open conversations with their direct reports where they're saying, hey, how can I support you? And maybe it's from a developmental place. Maybe it's a place of how can I make the place that you come to work every day more inclusive and comfortable? So there are so many ways. I mean, we spend hours upon hours at our jobs week after week. And it becomes more than just diversity, equity, and inclusion. It becomes so much more than, oh, I find I have a mentorship or I have a sponsor. It's more about I have a community. I have a place that I truly feel like I belong. And when you don't feel that way, I don't think that people stay at companies long. I don't think that there's any longevity. And I don't think that we're really creating that space for people to grow in a long-term way. So the second that we actually turn this into a responsibility where we all see each other as equals truly, then maybe we can start to see a little bit more of a change.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That resonated with me. All right. Anybody else want to share on that?
I feel like Kyrie took it right out of my mouth, and I think we're all on the same page.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. So I have a question for you, Shamika. Can you share a bit about your background and what inspired you to pursue your current career path?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say my childhood has really pushed me and influenced the background and the journey the career that I've pursued. I am from a predominantly white place. So growing up, I didn't see people who look like me. I didn't see Black women in leadership positions. I didn't see Black women, Black doctors, Black, honestly, Black anything. I was the only child in my classrooms who was Black and operating from that notion. So really pushing the envelope and really just like, really just pushing that envelope and wanting to really go into working with youth and stressing the importance of representation, culture, pride. What does it mean? What does it mean to be a Black woman? What does it mean to have success? What does it mean to be in leadership? What does it mean to just be, and that was something that really pushed me. I didn't have my first Black teacher or Black educator until I got to college. And when I speak to other people, that's not the reality. So really working with youth really inspired me. Having a mentor who pushed me and cultivated me and shaped me and molded me really pushed me to do the work that I do and understand the importance of working with diverse populations, people who look like me and don't look like me as well. So just being the change agent, not on my community, but also on a greater impact on a macro, on a micro level.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing what inspired you to get into this space and in this career path. That's awesome. So, without further ado, we have had our audience throughout asking questions over in our Q&A section. And so if you have not had an opportunity just yet, we are transitioning from those pre-populated questions to some burning questions that you all have. And so if you haven't, like I said already, make sure you do so now, because for the next 18 minutes, we get to ask as many questions and answer as many questions as possible. All right. With that being said, let's get into it. Question number one. I'm very curious to know how far back everyone started at the starting line. Was there boot camps or educational opportunities involved that got you where you are now? So that is the first question. Anyone want to take that?
I would say for me, yes. When I was in high school, I probably went to college, I started in programs like Upper Bound. Upper Bound was a great organization that helped me, with my college career, understand the success after college. And then when I got to college, I was also I was nominated as a Newman Civic Fellow. So they pick one student from each university in each state, and you represent what does it mean to be a change agent and a change maker. And you utilize that with partnerships. So utilizing that, my organization of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated also molded me into the success of leadership, unity, and just a social political awareness as well.
I
I
agree.
love
I
how
would
you
also
just did that mic drop for Zetas. Don't think you was gonna sneak that in there without me acknowledging. I love that. Jordan, I didn't mean to cut you off. Jordan, what were you saying?
Oh yes, no worries. I would just echo that as well. I had the opportunity to do a program called early enrollment at my undergrad, Johnson & Wales University, where they allow you to skip your senior year of high school and go to college a year early for 50% off of your tuition for that first year. So it really allowed me to get into the undergraduate space a lot earlier. And then another program, I went to a PWI in Rhode Island, and I had the opportunity to do a program called College Leadership Rhode Island, where they take 2 to 3 seniors from every university in Rhode Island and kind of build a cohort, but introduce you to C-suite members of the public, private, and government sectors. And I would just say, you know, for anyone on this webinar or in the audience that has participated in a program, make sure that you share that program with somebody else. A lot of these programs, many people don't know about them, or they know about them after the fact. So the only way we can, you know, lift as we climb, as I say, is share that information. You know, knowledge is truly power.
As well as, if I can add to that, you were just talking about how you were able to be mentored by C-suite individuals at the college level. And so that's something that you're now bringing to the forefront of your mind now, thinking about things that have influenced you. And so for those that are on the call, that are listening to this, I think that this is your moment. This is your opportunity. This is how you can give back to your community, to be someone like the individuals that Jordan was talking about, that opened yourself up to opportunities to be able to share with young Black professionals, to be able to provide mentorship to young Black professionals. So thank you so much for sharing that, Jordan. And I can echo that myself. I also was a part of an early admission program where I left out of college and high school in the 10th grade, and started at a school called School for Advanced Studies, to be able to get my associates by the time I graduated from high school. And so that was something that was absolutely beneficial and helped me, that when I was able to transition and people were acclimating to college, I already was a junior and was ready to graduate and had the skills that I needed. And so that was a really, really cool program to be a part of as well. So cool stuff, cool stuff. Another question that was posed was, were there any cold job career moves, or did you know someone everywhere you got into for a role or job? Now, my assumption with this question is, did you get job opportunities without the intervention of others, or was it a situation where you was able to be referred for opportunities? What has that been like for you?
I can go first. I did not like connect with anybody or get a referral or anything like that. It was the old school Indeed way, career, pop-ups. And then when I got hired at Allegis, it was through LinkedIn. So kind of the old school way. But I do know, we're kind of in that time where it's not about, what you know, it's who you know. So, which I think is a great way, you connect and get to, I feel like, try out different avenues that you wouldn't necessarily go for if you don't have those connections. So I think it's good. But yeah, for me personally, I was old school way.
Anyone else want to share on that?
I would agree with Ashley. Really do hitting it hard and doing the old school way. I haven't really been in a position to where I have been referred or knew someone in positions. It's really doing that groundwork where they're looking at like, hey, I like what this woman is doing. How can I be a part of that? Whether it's looking at their LinkedIn page, okay, how did they become a part of this program? Who do they know? Connecting, asking those questions. So really hitting that, it's not about what you know, who you know, but really just asking questions and letting those opportunities land there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that depending on the connotation of questions like that, there is an assumption that if you're in a specific position, and you are a part of a specified group, that you had a leg up. There's that assumption. And so there's nothing wrong with that. If that is an opportunity that is provided, you absolutely want to benefit from it. But I think that it's important to also recognize that there are certain individuals that haven't had that benefit. And so those assumptions would be wrong. if we make those about individuals that are part of marginalized groups that are doing amazing work and are in higher level positions. And Kyrie, I saw you unmute yourself and then you went back on mute. Talk to me. What were you going to say?
Pretty much the same thing that you said. But I also wanted to just comment that although I have the same experience as Ashley and Shamika as far as not having someone refer me or, put my name in the hat for any role that I have had in the last couple of years, I will say that I have tried to start referring people that I know that would do a good job and that I could trust with my stamp of approval, because you can't do that with everyone. But I do think that there isn't anything wrong with opening that door and trying to bring people in if you feel like the opportunity fits. But I don't think that it should be an assumption that anybody has that opportunity, because you just never know. So while it would be great for that to be my story, for me to say, yeah, I got here because I knew the right person, I do hope that one day I'm able to at least see someone and be like, I brought them in with me. I think that's a cool thing to be able to say.
Absolutely, 100%. This next question is for you, Jordan, from Timothy. As a founder of your own company, how do you balance growth and advancement of the company without sacrificing passion and authenticity?
That's a great question, Timothy. So thank you for that. I think the biggest thing, as the CEO of Light the Candle, is staying true to our strategic vision and our values, So that means every year I'm sitting down and mapping out, where we're going, what are our goals and what are our priorities? And to your point about passion and authenticity, if there is something that's not aligned with those core values, you have to say no, right? And there's a polite way to say no, there's a beautiful way to say it. But you have to make sure that if someone is not on that North Star journey with where you're looking to bring your business, then you have to respectfully ask them to jump out of, jump off of the bus. We're going in a different direction. And I think, as you set those goals for the year, those goals can't change. You can maybe refine small tweaks, but you can't say that, I want to be, making birthday cards and personal hygiene products for foster children all year long. And then maybe by December, you're like, you know what, we're going to actually start weaving baskets. You have to really stay true to that vision. And sometimes it's tough. But when you stay on that vision, it is beautiful to see how you can grow the brand.
Absolutely. I think that that's brilliant, what you just said. There are a couple of questions. We have 8 minutes left, y'all. Can you stand it? It doesn't feel like it to me. I've been having too much fun. So with that being said, we're going into the fire round, okay? Because I want to get to all of these questions that these individuals that are on the call have. And so if we could try to get it at 60 seconds or less, all right? Let's get into it. How can someone as an ally help to support and uplift Black voices in smaller communities? Who wants to take that one?
I'll take it.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, do you want
Go
to?
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would say speaking up, not just in communities that are marginalized, speak outside of those communities, speak in the spaces where communities of color is not represented, into your own groups and spread the awareness and the education, educate those groups outside of groups like myself.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. I see a question from Christina. You all speak about really amazing and positive moments and people in this talk, and I can appreciate that. But could you speak to some times of woe, struggle, and frustration? I want to align to the lightness, but just after the dark, when we might be in the dark. So I'm assuming that this individual is going through something at the present moment. And at this point, they're on the upswing. That's the way that I would like to put it. We have an opportunity for there to be better happening. And so speak to that. Speak to where you might have been frustrated and how you were able to keep the faith to get to the point that you're at right now.
Do you mind if I go?
Yes, please.
I would say for me is my faith. my faith and my partner has really been everything to me. I have been in spaces with people who I know I've been smarter than, educated on, understanding my own greatest strength, but don't give up on yourself. If you have a vision for yourself, hold it near and dear to your heart. It's okay to brag about yourself. I think for me, we were taught to be humble. And in some moments, it is great to just showcase your skills. And what you know was what you know, but don't let your vision go. Don't deter from it. What anyone says, quiet the noise down in your head, but just know you have a greater purpose here. Sometimes your gift is not for you, it's your gift to give to other people. And so just don't ever forget that.
Well, that was good. That was real good. Okay. We got 3 more questions, y'all. All right. What is the best advice you could give to an ally and how to be best open, have the conversations about how to best support any open opportunities, etc.?
Um, I guess I can take that one. I would say check in with your team members. Um, check in with your team. And don't be afraid to receive that information and even ask follow-up questions. It's uncomfortable for both parties to share how we're feeling and our thoughts. So we understand that part. So don't be afraid to sit in that uncomfortable moment with us and we talk it out. I think that is like the number one thing is just that communication piece and knowing that we are human at the end of the day and we don't understand where we've come from, on both sides, and it's okay to partner together to reach the common goal.
Oh, I love that, Ashley. If I could add to that, I know I'm not a panelist, but if I can add to that, receive the feedback and then be willing to pivot. Because we can't just receive it. You got to do something with it. Oh, I love that. Let me move on. Let me move on. Got 4 minutes left. That was good. Okay, how do you handle work and life balance?
Oh, I can take this one.
Mhm.
I constantly feel like I live off of, a schedule, because there's so much going on with like the candle, my personal brand and my full-time job. And I've narrowed it down to a simple phrase. I have a 5 to 9 before my 9 to 5. If you can't get something done in your life, wake up earlier. It will solve a lot of your problems. So I wake up at 5. I have my time to meditate, my time to be alone, write down my goals for the week. And then I work on my personal emails. I work on my personal brand. I'm updating LinkedIn. I'm building out my LinkedIn posts for the week. I'm, scheduling out everything going on in my personal life, whether that's fitness, whether that's seeing my family. This week I drove down to an hour from where I live now to go see my father. It was his birthday. I'm doing all that in the morning. So by the time I walk into my full-time job at 9 a.m., that's already done. That's handled. That was like a different lifetime ago. And then the evenings, I'm using that to unwind and reflect and really just focus on myself. So 5 to 9 before your 9 to 5, I'm convinced it will solve a lot of your problems.
I want to thank everyone for sharing your experiences, your perspectives, and your knowledge with us as members of the community, as well as representatives from your organization. We hope you've learned something and pulled some best practices. Please check out our events page on careercircle.com/events to register for upcoming webinars and events we have in store. Next month, we have a webinar, Moving Forward, Celebrating Women Innovators and Change Makers, on March 20th, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'd love for you to check it out and share it with your networks. Make sure you follow our panelists and Career Circle on LinkedIn, as well as take the survey after this webinar. Let us know what you thought of it. We'll be sending you an email with today's recording, resources discussed, as well as upcoming event information. So be on the lookout. With that being said, I've enjoyed this last hour. Thank you, ladies, so much for sharing and being open and being vulnerable and being transparent. This was an hour well spent. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.
Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.